Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top story, in El Salvador, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a free clinic with St. Mary's Foundation, helping over 200 villagers. In Taiwan, we meet senior volunteers who have proven, regardless of age, it is never too late to join Tzu Chi. And as the second anniversary of the Fukushima disaster in Japan draws near, we visit France to find out what the government is doing to reduce their dependency on nuclear power. Tzu Chi volunteers in El Salvador recently held a free clinic for residents of the Buddhist NGO's #1 Da'ai village. Like the last free clinic 6 months ago, Tzu Chi worked in cooperation with the St. Mary's Foundation. Together, the two gathered 8 medical staff and 30 volunteers that helped serve over 200 villagers. After 6 months, Tzu Chi volunteers and medical staff from the St. Mary's Foundation are back here again at this Da'ai village in El Salvador to provide free medical care for residents. Many lined up early to get a spot at the upcoming clinic.
This is the second time we have worked with Tzu Chi. The lives the villagers have here are very simple, and if they get sick, there is very little they can do about it. I hope this clinic will be of assistance to them.
Following the earthquake in 2001, Tzu Chi volunteers built 2 Da'ai villages for impoverished residents. Although residents are able to give back through aid distributions and social work, when it comes to medical care, they have no choice but to depend on Tzu Chi for help.
The residents here have been eagerly awaiting the free clinic and are so happy about it.
Most of the patients seen by doctors were elderly or infants. Volunteers and medical staff worked together to make sure that each patient received first-class attention and care from start to finish.
I'm so happy that I have the chance to participate in this Tzu Chi free clinic. It has given me a chance to experience the joy that comes from helping and working on behalf of others.
At the end of the day, 234 patients were seen, all of whom are certain to take the love they have received here today and spread it further. Recently, the Canada Tzu Chi chapter once again held a medical seminar, this time addressed by traditional Chinese medicine practitioner Zhong Zhengzhe. Meanwhile, Burnaby Tzu Chi volunteers held a tea gathering as a way to encourage more community members to join Tzu Chi.
This is the same tea gathering held by Burnaby Tzu Chi volunteers to give residents a taste of the Chinese New Year tradition. One volunteer even dressed up as the god of fortune. And even though the event was joined by many first-timers, the volunteers' hospitality closed the gap between themselves and local residents.
The purpose of holding this tea gathering is to help members of the public gain a better understanding of Tzu Chi and encourage them to walk the Tzu Chi path.
During the event, other than delicious food and exercise, the volunteers also designed riddle games, which are a tradition of the Chinese New Year.
This is my first time joining a Tzu Chi tea gathering. I am very happy and touched by the event because everyone had the chance to eat, chat, and play riddle games together.
Meanwhile, at the Tzu Chi chapter in Vancouver, Tzu Chi volunteers held a medical seminar with guest speaker, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner Zhong Zhengzhe.
To keep our bodies healthy, everyone must remember to continue to do the same thing, and in the end, you will see the results. Through the seminar, I got to interact with the audience. Everyone learned some exercises, how to eat healthier, and also how to maintain their health and adjust their mood.
After the seminar, Dr. Zhong also gave free acupuncture to those in the audience. He hopes everyone will go home with a healthier body and a mind prepared.
In our next report, we meet 84-year-old Yang Biqing, who decided to join the volunteer training program after taking part in the Water Repentance Sutra performance 2 years ago, and centenarian Zhang Wangsong, who passed away during the Chinese New Year, but however remains a role model for her selfless dedication to recycling work.
Tzu Chi volunteers bow sincerely to show their utmost respect for Gui Ma Zhan, a recycling volunteer in Nangang who passed away during the Chinese New Year holidays.
At some 90 years of age, she was still wearing a Chinese gong while doing recycling work. She really was a role model for us here at our Nangang district.
Gui Ma Zhan's husband passed away early, leaving her to care for their children on her own. Having devoted much of her life to her family, the senior later on found interest in Tzu Chi's recycling work, which she continued for another 7 to 8 years.
The more recycling work I do, the happier I am. We human beings will eventually die, but if we don't work, we will end up dying anyway. I am healthier and I have never had to take any food tablets.
The senior recycling volunteer always wore a traditional Chinese gown when doing recycling and gardening work, a trademark she was known for.
I dress like this each day. I have been wearing a chosam since I was 20 years old. It's really convenient. Look, I can pick up recyclables easily.
Gui Ma Zhan began sorting recyclables in the year of 2000, and it was only until she tripped and fell in 2008 that she had no choice but to stop. Though under the care of her children, she remained a role model at all times.
My mother always spoke good and kind words. She would say, "You kids always leave the best for me. How about we eat them together?" She was like that, always saying something positive.
She was very devoted to recycling work and never stopped for a second. Her spirit in many ways was a great inspiration for us.
Tzu Chi volunteers and Gui Ma Zhan's family together looked back at the life of the centenarian. Though Zhan Wangsheng may no longer be around, her spirit remains a role model for all. Sitting in an upright posture and listening intently to the master's teaching is 84-year-old Yang Biqing. Despite his age, Yang decided to join the volunteer training program after taking part in the Water Repentance Sutra performance.
I'm filled with Dharma joy as I listen to the Master's teachings. All her words are very wise. We should all follow her footsteps, as we will not go wrong when we follow her.
Yang always makes sure he does his homework before each training session, an act which even his daughter admires.
My father watched the Water Repentance Sutra at least twice before writing down some notes. He thinks what the master says are words of wisdom.
The piles of paper are all notes handwritten by Yang Biqing, who found serenity through repeatedly reading the sutra. It is also through studying the ancient scriptures that Yang has learned to respect all living beings.
I said to the little ant, "I might accidentally hurt you, so hurry on and leave." It understood me.
Yang's daughter, who is also a Tzu Chi volunteer, believes that leading her parents to walk the Tzu Chi path is the best way for her to fulfill her filial duties.
To be able to guide my parents to convert to Buddhism and even take on a vegetarian diet, that to me is the real filial piety. Tzu Chi volunteers in Australia recently partook in the country's Clean Up Australia Day on March 3rd. On this day, volunteers arrived at Melbourne's St. Kilda Beach, where they collected a total of 20 kilograms of garbage. And in the United States, Tzu Chis in Northern California helped to clean up around the areas of the Golden Gate Bridge. In the United States, San Francisco, California is known for its Golden Gate Bridge. However, the volunteers are not here to admire the architectural wonder, but are here to help clean up the surrounding area.
At first I was actually pretty scared because I didn't really know what to expect. And I remember in the beginning, it was all, I guess, it was a bit scattered because there are just so many people and you don't really know how to organize them.
Every 30 minutes, these Tzu Chis move to a different area to clean up. Everyone keeps to the task at hand and knows that keeping the planet clean should be something more than a motto.
It was pretty tiring, like shoveling. I've never done shoveling before in my life, so it was pretty tiring. But you just work, you just chat with everyone while you work, and so it wasn't that bad. It was actually very fun, and then it went by really quick. Like you went from job to job to job, and it was really fun.
Oh, cool.
Tzu Chis in the United States aren't the only ones helping to make the planet a cleaner place. In Australia, Tzu Chi volunteers participated in the Clean Up Australia Day, as March 3rd was the day for Australians to get out into their community and help make it shine. For the event, the volunteers traveled to Melbourne's St Kilda Beach.
During the process of picking up the trash, some thoughts would enter my mind, such as, even if I pick up the trash now, later someone will pollute the environment again. However, then I looked at it from a different angle and thought as we are picking up the trash, those who are around here will be able to see our actions, so maybe that will have an impact.
In the beginning, it seemed like the trash was little bits and pieces, and I thought, what difference will that make? But after we did the rounds, I saw that I had collected a lot of trash in my bag.
In the end, by picking up a little piece of trash here and there, the result was noticeable. Whether in Australia or the United States, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to do their part in making the earth a cleaner place. To promote Jing Si aphorisms in schools in Taiwan, the Taipei Eastern District Tzu Chi Liaison Office organized the Jing Si aphorism cartoon and calligraphy competition last Saturday, where elementary and kindergarten students put all their creativity to the test and demonstrated filial piety through their works of art.
On a piece of paper divided into 4 blocks, children are asked to draw their favorite Jing Si aphorism. Some stared blankly, not knowing what to draw, while others put their creativity to the test.
Today, I feel really happy and I am excited. My topic is based on the Jing Si aphorism. Filial piety is making our parents happy and giving them peace of mind.
To promote these words of wisdom in schools, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a Jing Si aphorism cartoon and calligraphy competition. Among the over 100 students participating in the calligraphy competition is Chen Rui-ying, a second-year student at Taipei First Girls High School.
When I'm writing calligraphy, my mind is at peace, and it also helped me focus better in my studies and be more patient. I think learning to write Chinese calligraphy is really a great help for me.
Whether it is drawing cartoons or writing calligraphy, every student put their focus on the competition and comes to understand the meaning behind these words of wisdom.
It is great that children can learn the meaning behind the Jing Si aphorisms. I think rather than having us tell them, in this way they will be able to better understand the message that is there.
I think that spending time with our family and giving them emotional support is far more important than providing them with material goods.
Tzu Chi volunteers also let the children know that it is not about who wins the competition, but whether they have taken the Jing Si aphorisms to heart and put them into practice in their daily lives.
France is ranked top in the world when it comes to nuclear power usage. In the past, the French people believed that nuclear power was 100% safe. However, they weren't so sure after the Fukushima disaster in Japan in 2011. As voices of all opinions continue to soar, the ITV reporters visited a nuclear power plant near Paris to learn what locals have to say.
France is the most nuclearized country in the world. Among the 2 million residents of Paris, about 99% have their electricity coming from nuclear energy. This is also why, whether opposed to or in favor of nuclear power, the topic remains highly debatable among the general public.
We can't be against nuclear today. For me, it's impossible. I am, since I was young, against nuclear energy, and as time passes by, I grow more against it.
It's either denial or desperation. People either say nothing will happen, we'll be safe, or what if it happens, we will all be dead.
France has a total of 19 nuclear power plants, represented by the green dots on the map. The purple dots represent the sites where the nuclear waste is being stored, and the blue ones are the nuclear military sites. The lines on the map are all the different roads, commonly known as the nuclear way, because they are used either to transport uranium nuclear fuel or nuclear waste. The town of Vibaru is situated some 100 kilometers away from the capital of Paris and is close to a nuclear power plant.
I like the Saint Laurent plant because I've spent my entire career working there. Now I'm the mayor of a town called Vibaru, and people started questioning me, saying, how can you conciliate the environment and sustainable development when you have a nuclear background? I tell them that it's exactly what I'm doing. I do want to contribute to the energy transition, reduce nuclear power usage, and develop the other energies. The Saint Laurent plant was where the worst accidents took place, which almost became nuclear catastrophes, such as the Chernobyl or Fukushima disasters. The incidents considered to be the most serious in France, both at level 4 occurred here.
With stable geological plates and world-leading science and technologies, French people are confident in the safety of nuclear energy. However, the French scientist still hasn't figured out a solution to deal with nuclear waste.
There is clearly no solution for nuclear waste. France decided to develop reprocessing, which means a lot of transport of nuclear waste, which means also deep geological storage, and which means a lot of contamination due to reprocessing.
In May 2012, the French government was put to shame as the security at these nuclear power plants failed when Greenpeace activists entered using paraglide and set smoke bomb on top of the reactors.
Actually, we did something useful. We showed all the French population that our nuclear power plant were not protected against terrorist attacks. It's a global issue. Nuclear is never a local issue.
Nuclear is so present in the French mentalities. I think we almost need to have an accident here for the French to finally understand the danger behind this energy.
Yes, because Chernobyl occurred when the Soviet Union was about to disintegrate. It was in the old and pro-industrial Ukraine. Japan is too far. I think they didn't understand the message yet.
I think we have to make some efforts. We have to consume less energy. Of course, we need to build houses that consume less energy, to have progressively more wind power and more solar energy, but right now we are not ready for that.
In the Dominican Republic, Tzu Chi volunteers held a Lunar New Year blessing ceremony at the Tzu Chi La Romana school, in which nearly 100 residents took part. Local volunteers not only organized the event on their own, but also put on a successful sign language performance.
Come the day of the New Year's blessing ceremony at the Tzu Chi La Romana school in the Dominican Republic, local volunteers are in charge of organizing the event, with help from Tzu Chi volunteers. Despite the language barrier, volunteers practice again and again to get the movements right. The sisters gave me a video so I can watch and practice at home each day. I listen to the music and just practice continuously. I am happy to be able to put on a good performance. Local volunteers put on a successful sign language performance. The show deeply moved many in the audience, including a Tzu Chi student, Junior. 23-year-old Junior was involved in a life-threatening accident back in 2007 when he was studying at the Tzu Chi La Romana school.
At that time, I was going to buy petrol for our village church, so I took the motorbike with my friends. The bike in front suddenly braked, and so did I. But the truck behind us couldn't stop in time and smashed into us.
As Junior's legs were severely injured in the accident, Tzu Chi volunteers not only helped subsidize his medical cost, but also accompanied the boy through rehab. Today, in his last year of high school, Junior hopes to become a reporter one day.
Many of those who are the same age as me all have the bad habits of taking drugs and stealing. If it wasn't for the Tzu Chi school, I wouldn't be here today.
Also looking forward to a brighter future is Reina, who is here at the blessing ceremony with her daughter and granddaughter.
I am a student of the 8th grade night class. The reason why I came to study was because I hope to increase my knowledge and at the same time help my child in her studies too.
The participants together pray for a world free of disasters as well as a hopeful future ahead.
Tzu Chi continues to spread its seeds of love to all corners of society. In Canada, Tzu Chi volunteers visited the city of Abbotsford, British Columbia, for a tea gathering to introduce Tzu Chi to a mostly Christian community. Meanwhile, in the United States, Tzu Chi Academy in New Jersey and the Almonte Liaison Office in California both held Chinese New Year celebrations. From decorating the venue to sound control to hosting the event, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to put on a good show for participants of the Lunar New Year celebration here in Almonte, California.
If you are moved or joyous, then the audience will relate to your energy. However, if you are just lecturing, then they will think it's just words or that it's just another video and be uninterested. I think the difference is very clear. The host of the event shares with everyone what Tzu Chi has been doing all over the world, whether it's free clinics or aid distributions to help those in need. We are here to cultivate more bodhisattvas, and we hope every family, whether you're husband and wife, father and mother, or parent and child, can all come join the ranks of Tzu Chi. Besides the special event, courses in tea ceremony and calligraphy are also held at the Tzu Chi Almonte Liaison Office, to which volunteers invite residents to freely attend. Meanwhile, on the other side of the United States, Central New Jersey Tzu Chi Academy was holding a Lunar New Year celebration. First-time audience members found the event especially colorful.
I think it's because we are not in our homeland, so the performance were all very traditional.
The 6th and 7th grader put on a shadow puppet show, while the younger students put on a dance with teachers and volunteers.
Here at Tzu Chi Academy, what I think is special is that the number of volunteers outnumber the students. I think that's just extraordinary.
The power of the Tzu Chi family is to bring love and care to all those in need that they come in contact with. Just like the volunteers in Canada who are visiting Abbotsford to hold a tea gathering. This is the third time volunteers are here, and they hope to give more people a sense of what the Tzu Chi Foundation is about. Although most residents of Abbotsford are Christian, the will to help those in need is the same, like Susan Martins-Keller, a nursing educator of the Mennonite Christian Hospital Nursing School, who lived in Hualien for 25 years. No matter what the occasion is or where the events are held, the message Tzu Chi volunteers want to convey is the same. In bringing hope and love to those in need, we can make society a more peaceful place. At the end of the show, we visit students of Tzu Chi's child development class as they visit the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital with their parents and volunteers to learn about patient care. During their visit, children learn the lesson of being kind to strangers and counting their blessings on possessing a healthy body. We will leave you with these images. Have a good weekend and see you next week.